أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم وفقنا وسائر المشتغلين للعلم والعمل الصالح بحق محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. Imam Ali alayhi salam said that good whose end consequence in the fire is not good, and that hardship whose end consequence is in paradise is not bad. Every bliss other than paradise is inferior, and every calamity other than the fire itself is comfort. قال الإمام علي عليه السلام: ما خير بخير بعده النار، وما شر بشر بعده الجنة، وكل نعيم دون الجنة فهو محقور، وكل بلاء دون النار عافية. With Islamic laws, we reach to issue number 1072. The turba, the mohr as they said, or turba, is the piece of the earth that where we perform prostration on, or other thing on which a person performs sajda should be tahir. This is number one, should be tahir. If he places the mohr on a mutanajjis carpet, or if one side of the mohr or the turba is mutanajjis and he places his forehead on its tahir part, there is no harm in it. You know, what we care about is where we put our forehead. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Where we put our forehead. If we put our forehead, we should put our forehead on a tahir place, not on a mutanajjis place. Imagine this is the turba. Imagine this is the turba where we perform our sajda. And if this part where we put our forehead on it is tahir, it doesn't matter, there is no problem. Even if the carpet was mutanajjis, or even the other side of turba is what? Is mutanajjis too. That your sajda is what? Your sajda is in order and doesn't matter. Issue number 1073. If there is a sore or wound, I know what is the difference between sore and wound. Wound is a kind of cut in the flesh, in the meat. And sore, it's a kind of, not a cut, but where it seeps not blood. Like what? It is not a blood. It is not a blood. It is the white cells inside the blood. Okay? If there is a sore or wound, etc., in the forehead, this is the forehead exactly. If there is a sore or a wound in the forehead of a person, making him unable to rest his forehead on the ground, that this sore or this cut is not allowed me or the mukallaf to rest our forehead on the turba because of the wound or because of this sore. What is the solution? What we will do? Look, and if the sore or the wound has not covered the whole of the forehead, this is the forehead definitely. If it is, for example, it is here, that it is not, the sore is not here or the wound is not here, I can rest my forehead where in this area which it does not have a sore or wound. has not covered the whole of the forehead, he should perform sajda with the unaffected part of the forehead. Unaffected part of the forehead. As I told you, if the wound or sore right here, and this part is what is not wounded, there is no sore in it, I can use it for what? For making sajda. And if it becomes necessary to dig a hole or a pit so that the part with the sore or wound stays there while the healthy part is on the ground, he should do so. Sometimes there is a sore right here or a wound. What I will do, I will dig a hole in the turba or make a bit in the turba, either a hole or make a pit in the turba, in order to let what? In order to let the sore or the wound in this hole or in this bit, and the rest of the forehead are where? Are resting on the turba. I have to do this in order to perform sajda. In order to perform sajda. All these steps, not to go to other choices. Look, we have choices before we move to another choice. For example, not to rest the other side of the forehead on the turba. Before you go to the other side, you have these choices. Issue number 1074. If the sore or the wound has covered the entire forehead, all the forehead is what? Is full with sore, or it is full with, or it is cut, all of it. What does this mean? This means I cannot rest my forehead where? On the turba. What shall I do? This is the other choice. If the sore or the wound has covered the entire forehead, he should perform sajda with other parts of his face. Other parts of his face, like what? As an obligatory precaution. Now, number one, he should perform sajda with his chin. With his chin. If the forehead is not available for sajda, you are going to put what? To put your chin instead. هاي شوية غريبة راح أشرحها بالعربي. إنه إذا كان مكان السجود إما به جرح أو قرح وكله ما تقدر تسوي سجدة. إيش راح تسوي؟ راح تسوي السجدة بطرف آخر من وجهك. شنو الطرف الآخر؟ الحنج مالتك. شوية التفتوا عليه. يعني راح تخلي الحنج مالتك وين؟ على التربة، بدل الجبهة مالتك، بدل جبينك. عفوا بدل الجبهة وليس الجبين. الجبين هذا وهذا الجبين. بدل الجبهة مالتك. This is the first time you heard it.
Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
If we change this is a place for the sajda with my chin, okay? This is vertical.
Yes. As an obligatory precaution.
An obligatory precaution.
Yes.
What's the view for the jurist about the view side? About the forehead, right or left side for the jabha?
Actually, with the forehead,
very near from the jabha.
We will take it, inshallah. We will take it. But if the forehead is not available for sajda because of the wound or the sore, you have as an obligatory precaution to put what? To put your chin on the turba.
Okay.
Have you got this?
Yes.
Okay. This is as an obligatory precaution. He should perform sajda with his chin. And if that is not possible, even his chin, he cannot put his chin on the turba. With one of the two sides of the forehead. The next step, if your chin is not available as an obligatory precaution, you will use what? The other two sides of your forehead. عفوا إذا كانت جبهة غير جاهزة علما للسجود لوجود جرح أو قرح. الآن كالأحوط وجوبا وين تروح؟ تخلي الحنش مالتك على التربة، تخلي الحنش مالتك على التربة. إذن إذا الحنش أيضا غير جاهز إنه أخليه على التربة، راح تخلي إما الجانب الأيمن أو الجانب الأيسر من الصدغ مالتك، من جبينك. When it is not possible to perform sajda with the face in any way, the other step, if your face is unavailable to perform sajda, he should perform sajda by sign. He should perform sajda by sign. يعني شنو؟ يعني بالإشارة، إيماء. Either by your eyes or by your head. Okay? For example, the whole face is covered with bandage. The whole face is covered with bandage. He cannot perform sajda. In this case, perform sajda either with head, lowering your head, or by your eyes, closing your eyes. One of them. Issue number 1075. If a person can sit but cannot make his forehead reach the ground. This person, he can sit, but he cannot let his face reaching the turba. He should bow as much as he can. Okay, while he is sitting, he should bow. يعني من يجلس وما يقدر يجيب السجود، فلازم شنو؟ ينحني أكثر ما يستطيع. As he can, he should bow. This is a vertical, as much as he can, and should place the turba. He should place the turba or the earth instead of more. Change it into turba better. Yeah, I should do it later on, inshallah. Or any other allowable thing, maybe a stick, maybe a rock, a stone, on something high. On something high. Just like he should put what? He should put the turba on a desk or on a stick, okay? And then perform sajda. Why? Because he can sit, yes, really he can sit, but he cannot perform sajda. His head cannot reach to the sajda. In this case, he should raise the turba and put it on a stick or anything which make it easy to perform sajda. Anything stable, definitely. He should place the turba or any other allowable thing on something high and place his forehead on it in such a way that it may be said that he has performed sajda. But his palms, his knees, and toes should be on the ground as usual. His palms and his knees, or kabba, and his toes, his big toes, should be where? On the ground. Issue number 1076. If a person cannot find something high, if a person cannot find something high on which he may place the turba. He cannot find a desk, he cannot find a stick, or any other allowable thing, or any other allowable thing, not only turba, maybe the leaf of the tree, waraq al-shajar, or maybe a stone, or maybe an earth, not only turba, okay, or any other allowable thing. And if he cannot find any person who would raise the turba, if you see Sayyid al-Khomeini, may Allah bless his soul, when he was sick and he was sleeping, he cannot move, there was another person used the turba to make it where next to his forehead to perform sajda. You saw that, I think. Yes. If he cannot find a person who would raise the turba, etc., for him, then as a precaution, he should raise it with his hand and do sajda on it. In this case, he can raise the turba and put it on his forehead to make what? To make sajda. No problem. Any question about this? Issue number 1077. If a person cannot perform sajda at all, he should make a sign for it. He should make a sign, ima, with his head. And if he cannot do even that, even he cannot move his head because of the broken neck, for example, he should make a sign with his eyes. He can make a sign for sajda with his eyes. And if he cannot make sign even with his eyes, there is another problem with his eyes. For example, his eyes were closed or bandaged. He should, on the basis of obligatory precaution, make a sign for sajda with his hand. With his hand. Okay? Etc. And should make a niyyah for sajda. This is not a strange thing. Should make a niyyah for sajda, because before, if you remember that we should, in each part of the salah, we have to make what? A separate niyyah. This sajda for the first rak'ah or of the salat al-maghrib. This is the second sajda of the first rak'ah of salat al-maghrib, and so on. Because each act of the salah should have intention. احنا قلنا انه كل جزء من اجزاء الصلاة لازم بنية. كل جزء من اجزاء الصلاة لازم بنية، بانه هذا السجدة الأولى مع الركعة الأولى مع صلاة المغرب، هاي السجدة الثانية مع الركعة الأولى مع صلاة المغرب، هذا القيام بعد الركوع مع الركعة الأولى مع صلاة المغرب. If we do such details, are we going to forget in which rak'ah we are or not? Of course not. Of course not. As an obligatory precaution, make a sign for sajda with his hand, etc., and should make niyyah for sajda in his mind and recite the obligatory dhikr. The obligatory dhikr that is Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. The obligatory one time, and as I recommended, repeated 3 times. Issue number 1078. If the forehead of a person is raised involuntarily, he doesn't intend to raise his head, هو ما متعمد وجبهته طخت بالتربة والرفعات. If the forehead of a person is raised involuntarily from the place of sajda, he should not, if possible, allow it to reach the place of sajda again. First of all, he should stop his forehead from going back to the turba. Okay, it's number 1. If he can, he should not, if possible, if he can, allow it to reach the place of sajda again. And this will be treated as one sajda. Have you got Sheikh Ameer? This will be treated as one sajda, even it's not in his intention, but it happens just like that, involuntarily. In this case, he should do his best not to let his forehead going back to the place of sajda, and this will be what? As the first sajda. And yes, treated as one sajda, even if he may not have uttered the dhikr of sajda. Even if he may not have uttered the dhikr of sajda. Without dhikr, yes.
But his intention will be what will be this mission.
It happens just like involuntarily. يعني حصلت هيك بشكل مباشر، هو حط راسه على التربة، راسه طخ بالتربة وصعد، يقول لي يرجع خلي، يعتبر هذا شنو؟ السجدة أولى، حتى بدون ما قال ذكر، نعتبرنا هي سجدة. إذا كانت هاي السجدة الثانية تعتبر السجدة الثانية، يقوم بعد خلاص يقعد. إذا كانت لهاي السجدة الأولى راح يجيب السجدة الثانية. If he may not have uttered the dhikr of sajda, and if he cannot control his head, إذا لا ما قدر وراسه رجع مرته الثانية, and it reached the place of sajda again, and his head reached the place of sajda again, involuntarily, both of them will be reckoned as one sajda. If his forehead, he could not stop it, and then his head going back on sajda place. Now, what is the solution? Is he going to count it as two sajdas or one sajda? So Islam said, no, it is one sajda. It is one sajda. Yes, both of them are one sajda. Why, Shaykhana? Because it is not in his intention, and it happens involuntarily. So both of them will be reckoned as one sajda, and if he has not uttered the dhikr, it is better to utter the dhikr after returning with the niyyah of qurba. When he returns back to the place of sajda, it is better for him to do what? It is better for him to perform sajda. No. To perform, to recite the dhikr, and returning with the niyyah of qurba, not the dhikr for the intention. This is the dhikr of sujood of the first or second sajda. Just subhana rabbiyal a'la wa bihamda, generally. Qurbat Allah ta'ala. Seek nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this understood? Exactly. Issue number 1079. At a place where a person has to observe taqiyya. What does it mean, taqiyya? This is the definition of taqiyya. Concealing one's faith in dangerous situation. If you are among people whom they hate Shia, whom they would like to kill a Shia in order to go and have lunch with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So be careful, okay? At a place where a person has to observe taqiyya, concealing one's faith in dangerous situation, he can perform sajda on a carpet. He can, this is a verdict from Sayyid Sistani, on a carpet, or other similar things, and it is not necessary for him to go elsewhere. It is not necessary for him to go elsewhere to, for example, to perform sajda. No, just perform your sajda right there, doesn't matter. Or delay the prayer, or it is not obligatory on him to delay what? To delay the prayer so that he is able to pray freely at the place without taqiyya. No, you don't need that. Just perform your salah and perform your sajda on carpet, on earth, it doesn't matter. The most important, it is tahir. But if he finds that he can perform sajda on a mat, you know the meaning of mat? حصيرة. هذا الحصير مع القصب البردي. Or any other allowed objects. Any other allowed objects. Just like where he can use, for example, the leaves of the trees, rocks, clays, and so on, without any impediment. And those people, they don't care about this. There is no prohibition. Then he should not perform sajda on a carpet or things like that. Why? Because they accept to perform sajda on a mat. And you have a choice either to pray on a mat or on a carpet. So choose a mat. That will be better for you. If there is no objection. If there is no objection. Issue number 1080. If a person performs sajda on a mattress, you know mattress, هذا شو اسمه مال السفنج، دوشك مال السفنج مثل ما نقول. If a person performs sajda on a mattress filled with feathers, what is in this mattress? شنو يشبه هذا الدوشك؟ ريش feathers or any other similar مثل السفنج think, his sajda will be void. انتبهوا هذا اللي يصلي على دوشك من السفنج، دوشك من الريش، السجود مالته راح يكون باطل. السجود مالته باطل. Or any other similar thing, his sajda will be void if his body cannot remain steady. إذا أثناء السجود جسمه أو مكان السجود مالته ما بقى ثابت, his sajda is void. Is this clear, inshallah? Huh? If he is keeping his steed, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There is no problem. No problem. Our problem that if his body is not become steady, إذا جسمه ما بقى ثابت ويرتجف أو كذا, هذا السجد this his sajda will be void. Issue number 1081. If a person is compelled to perform a prayer, if a person is compelled to perform a prayer on muddy ground, it is not because of him. They obliged him to perform sajda on a muddy ground. In the event that it does not cause him excessive difficulty, if performing on muddy ground will never make it mashaqqa for him, excessive difficulty for his body and the dress to become soiled with mud, he must perform sajda and say tashahhud in the normal manner. If there is nothing happened to him and his clothes won't be stained with or soiled with mud, doesn't matter. He can perform sujood and tashahhud in that case, and his salah will be in order. However, if it does not cause him excessive difficulty, however, if it does not cause him excessive difficulty, he must indicate with his head for sajda while he is standing, and also say tashahhud standing. Look, if it does cause him excessive difficulty, if there is a mashaqqa, excessive difficulty, performing sajda or tashahhud on a muddy ground, what he will do in this case? He must indicate with his head to perform sajda with his head, okay, while he is standing, and also say tashahhud standing, In such a situation, his prayer is valid. In such situation, his prayer is what? Is valid. Issue number 1082. The obligatory precaution is that in the first rak'ah and in the third rak'ah, which do not contain tashahhud, the obligatory precaution, this is not a vertical, this is not fatwa. The obligatory precaution is that in the first rak'ah and in the third rak'ah, which do not contain tashahhud, like the third rak'ah in Dhuhr, Asr and Isha prayer, one should sit for a while after tashahhud. After the second sajda, before rising. Again, this is an obligatory precaution, is that in the first rak'ah and in the third rak'ah, first and third rak'ah, not in the second rak'ah which it has tashahhud, not in the fourth rak'ah which it has tashahhud and taslim. No, the first rak'ah and the third rak'ah which do not contain tashahhud, one should sit for a while after the second sajda before rising. يعني بالركعة الأولى والركعة الثالثة اللي ما به لا تشهد ولا تسليم، مثل صلاة الصبح، الظهر، المغرب والعشاء. بالركعة الأولى والركعة الثالثة بعد السجدة الثانية يقعد شوية وبعدين يقوم، مو رأسا يقوم، مو من السجود رأسا يقوم. No, he should sit for a while after the second sajda before rising. Is this understood? This is an obligatory precaution for Sayyid Sistani. Is that clear? Yes, he can say that. He can say that. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم.